there's the physio now, and they'll probably announce a medical timeout, but this is a real shame if this is hampering his performance, whatever it is. Is it up in the hip flexor, or is it an abdominal injury?
Abdominal. I think there's nothing you can do for that kind of injury.
Rafa, you've got something to share with us.
Yeah, well, good evening, everyone. Well, unfortunately, as you can imagine, if I am here because I have to pull out from the tournament. No, it's obvious that if I keep going, the injury gonna be worse and worse, and that's the thing that I can say now, and feel very sad to say that.
Well, day 12 of the championship had a Rafa Nadal-shaped hole in the schedule, but eyes were still firmly inside centre court as defending champion Novak Djokovic took on last Brit standing Cam Norrie. Well, tests don't come much tougher than Novak Djokovic playing on centre court at Wimbledon. The Serb is going for his 4th consecutive title and his 7th overall. But if Norrie needed any inspiration, then he might as well look at another Brit in the form of Andy Murray. Well, I think it's about time we speak about a moment of British tennis history. Charlie? 7th of July 2013, what happened?
Yeah, one of the greatest days in British tennis history. It was the day that finally the 77 years of waiting ended when Britain finally had a male singles Wimbledon champion again. Andy Murray sort of scaled that peak that looked like he might never do. I mean, we knew he could do it. He had the game. He lost in the final the year before, and that was when he gave that incredibly emotional speech, "I'm getting closer," and started crying, and he did it. He somehow got over the line, but what I find extraordinary about that match is the records will show it was a straight sets win. It was the most unstraightforward straight sets win there's ever been. It was agonizing. It was 3 hours of just the most exhausting tennis, and Murray, that final game where he does get over the line, was nerve-shredding to watch. I don't know what it was like to play. I don't know how he held a racket, because it was just everything sport should be. So tense.
How do you think that day kind of changed British tennis fans' views of where we can go in terms of tennis in this country?
Yeah, it definitely made it seem possible. You know, for years, British tennis players had been the butt of jokes. Either they were kind of seen as no-hopers, or they were seen as near misses, that they'd get close but wouldn't quite get over the line. And all of a sudden, Andy Murray shattered that glass ceiling and showed that you could do it if you were a home favourite, and that you could harness the power of that crowd. You know, we saw other players do that. Tim Henman was another one. But Murray, he used it to get all the way over the line. But I think just in and of itself, that just gave the British public such an incredible day. It was such a hot day, I remember, as well. And just the feeling, I would say euphoria, but I think a lot of it was relief. And that's how he felt. It was just, he wasn't even that happy. He was just so relieved to have got over the line.
When do you think we'll get a next men's champion here at Wimbledon?
I don't know. I mean, 77 years between Fred Perry and Andy Murray. Hopefully it won't be that long. And there are some great players coming through. I mean, obviously Cam Norrie, the wait could be only a few days. Obviously he'd have to get past Djokovic as well. Then you look at someone like Jack Draper, really exciting guy coming through. So yeah, let's say hopefully within the next 10 to 20 years, but you never know.
It's always so great to have a sit down with Charlie. And after that semi-final matchup, it's a question now of if Cam Norrie can follow in Andy Murray's footsteps.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the second Friday of Wimbledon. We've had a fantastic Wimbledon. The weather certainly has been on our side from the word go, and it is again today. It is just the most glorious day. And obviously we don't have the running order that we were anticipating because of Rafael Nadal's withdrawal. Novak Djokovic against Cameron Norrie, our one surviving men's semi-final. So a big moment for these four players. And a chance to put it away in style. And the multiple Grand Slam winners have their eyes on the prize once again.
And here they come, the players. It's a big welcome for both players on centre court.
Oh, that's in. He's getting ready for Kyrgios.
It is an 8th Wimbledon final for Novak Djokovic. Crowd not all delighted with the reaction, but he won't worry about that.
It's another final for me here in Wimbledon, the tournament that I love so much. So hopefully the experience can work in my favor.
Nick Kyrgios, what are your thoughts on what's to come?
Well, one thing is for sure, there's going to be a lot of fireworks emotionally from both.
It's wide. The number one seeds through to the final of the ladies' doubles.
2 sets to 1, 16.
Well, I'm joined by James Stewart as we look back at that much anticipated only men's singles semi-final matchup which took place on
singular for the first time.
Novak Djokovic into his 11th Grand Slam semi-final here at Wimbledon, and Cam Norrie into his first, and he came out the blocks firing 6-2 that first set to Cam Norrie.
Yeah, I mean, the British fans here at Wimbledon were hoping for a home victory on home soil. They thought maybe at the start it was going that way. Cam came out adrenaline pumping, he looked great. He flew through that first set. But it's sort of a bit of a trick that Djokovic does, right? We've seen him do it before, in the previous round against Sinner, where he almost says, you know what, I'm going to sit back, relax, you do the first set, let's see what happens. He figures out what's happening, he comes back in the second and third set, and he blows those opponents away, as we saw against, unfortunately for Cam Norrie today.
I mean, the predictions ahead of the match, I had a look on IBM, it said 57% Djokovic. After that, I think we thought they'd got that slightly wrong. But, I mean, talk about, though, like you said, the crowd here and what Djokovic managed to do and what he's still on course for, his 4th consecutive slam here.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, he did a similar thing against Sinner in the previous round, where he almost sort of says to his opponent in the first set, you know what, let's see what you've got. Figures it out, and then that is the mark of the man. That's why he's the best player in the world, because he's so calculated. He can make those adjustments as he's going along, and he just took over, came out in the second set, just did what he does. And I mean, I'm in awe of it. It's almost robotic, and I mean that in a good way, because it's faultless.
He loves, doesn't he, giving the first set to the Brit.
Yes.
Carl Edmund,
yeah.
Jack Draper,
I know.
Cam Norrie, the list continues. I know, well, let's talk about what that means now for the final. Rafa Nadal, obviously, pulling out late last night with that abdominal strain. He had a scan, he said, I can't play 2 matches. Possibly if it was the final, he may have done because he's on for the Canada Slam. But
yes.
How much more pressure does that now put on Djokovic that, he can go for a 21st slam and you get closer now to Nadal's 22?
He's a human being like the rest of us. He's got a point to prove. With Rafa out, as you said, no Roger here.
great opportunity for him, and you know he will feel that pressure. Kyrgios is not. That's the last person in the world you're going to be playing in a final, because he's got nothing to lose. He's just happy to be here. He's got through the semi-final without even lifting his racket. Kyrgios. He's going to come out on Sunday absolutely pumped. We know what's going to come with Nick. A circus, call it what you want. It's going to be chaotic, and the question is going to be whether Novak can live with that. He's played a lot of tennis this week, Novak. You know, Nick's had a couple of days off, so I think it's going to be about who's adapted to that break more.
Yeah, 3 days well rested Nick Kyrgios will be when he heads to that final on Sunday against Novak Djokovic, looking for his 4th consecutive title. Well, let's continue talking about the Brits. Obviously, Cam Norrie was in action today, but there were 2 more British hopefuls out here on court, Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid, going for their 5th title here at the All England Club. And I managed to sit down with Gordon Reid ahead of their matches. Well, I've come over here to the new indoor practice courts at Wimbledon with Gordon Reid here. And Gordon, lovely to have you here with your partner Alfie Hewitt, looking for your 11th consecutive Grand Slam title and your 16th as a duo. I mean, that's some big numbers there, Gordon, isn't it?
Yeah, we're pretty happy with the numbers, yeah. No, me and Alfie we've been doing great over the last few years. I feel like we've put in a lot of hard work behind the scenes and a lot of hours with the coaching team on the double side of things to try and improve ourselves, and no matter what the results are, they're good or bad, to just keep pushing the team forward and try and improve all the time.
Why do you think you're so good as a pair?
I think we balance each other out quite well. Like, he's a little bit younger than me and he's a little bit more fiery and emotional, and I'm a little bit older and a little bit more calm and cool on court. So I think the combination of that works really well. And then the tennis styles as well sort of balance each other quite nicely. He's quite big hitting ground strokes and aggressive, and I like to mix it up with the slice and come forward and volley at the net. And we've known each other for a long time and played with each other for a long time now, so that helps as well.
Yeah, obviously looking to win the doubles title here at Wimbledon again with Alfie. I mean, why is this so special when you've lifted it here in the past? What are your memories of those times?
Well, some amazing memories. I was training this morning before my match out in court 17, and that was the court that I won the singles and we won the doubles together, me and Alfie, in 2016, which was our first Grand Slam title together. So just being back there again on the court brings back the memories, and obviously we're backed amazingly well by the crowd here, and being the local players, it's always special. And Wimbledon's the tournament that I grew up watching on TV. Obviously it's very traditional and iconic when you watch with all the whites and the grass. So yeah, I mean, you can't beat being here as a British tennis player. It's the best place to be.
And you said, you know, you've supported well here, and that kind of proved, didn't it, out on court 14 earlier. But it's great to have that support, isn't it? Like, people just love coming to watch you two.
Yeah, it's a dream come true when we're out there with full stands, which it was this morning. And yeah, Wimbledon and the other Grand Slams are doing an amazing job of giving us opportunities now to play us in the bigger stadium courts, and hopefully, you know, we start filling them more and more in the future as well.
Well, one upside to only having one men's singles semi-final was that Hewitt and Reid got a promotion in terms of court for their doubles matchup. They got to play on that court behind me, court number 1.
What a way to conclude the first set. Gordon Reid celebrating that exquisite acute-angled volley from the forehand flank.
The top seeds took on Egberink and Gerrard, who they defeated in last year's final, and it was far from a straightforward matchup. Reid and Hewitt eventually prevailing in 3 sets to stay in the hunt for that 11th straight Grand Slam title.
And that's it, they've done it. It required a Herculean effort, but Alfie Hewitt and Gordon Reid return to the Wimbledon final here.
Well, it may be the business end of the championship, but we always make time for a look at the lighter side.
Some welcome shade on a very warm afternoon here in London. Sweltering day.
Fans with fans. And a Federer fan.
With a fan.
Federer fan with a fan.
On the left-hand side is the men's changing room. On the right-hand side, on the other side of the flowers, is the women's changing room. And I've never been in there.
15 all. Good fielding.
Yeah.
There's a present. That'll go on the mantle at home.
Well, I don't know about you at home, I'm dizzy. It's just the ball that matters. How do you score that?
Oh, now we've got challenges in.
Yeah, all guys confused as we all were.
Ready, my boy? I'm ready. Come on, big boy. Hey. Can you do another race like that? Maybe. Oh, yeah.
Well, James, let's talk about this massive matchup tomorrow. The ladies' final, of course. It's Ons Jabeur taking on Elena Rybakina. It's a massive moment for both of them, both into their first ever Grand Slam final. What do you think they'll be feeling right now on the eve of that matchup?
You made me excited when you just said that then. It was a day of firsts here. It's great for the sport to have this. You know, Ons Jabeur's a real crowd favourite here. As you said, both doing great things, not just for themselves, but for their respective countries. We've got first Kazakh through to the final, first highest ranked African player in a Grand Slam final. It's great to have these progressive tournaments happening, and it's a matchup for me, a contrast of styles. Ons Jabeur, she's an entertainer. She plays sometimes I think she's playing squash. The way she hits the ball, slices off both the forehand and the backhand. The semis against Maria, sometimes it was unbelievable shot selection. So I think Elena, a slightly more traditional player, as we talked about. She relies on that big first serve. She's I think the leading server in the WTA this year. So Ons has got her work cut out. Make no mistake, this is not an easy match, but what a match it's going to be, Rach.
Yeah, and it's a match for the neutral as well. It kind of just shows how open the ladies' side of the draw has been for a couple of years now and is once again.
Yeah, well, I think as soon as the seeds tumbled really early, it was like sort of harvest. The seeds were flying all over the place. And for me, when Swiatek went out, that was when it really started to just open wide up. And fair play to these two ladies. They've come out, they've made the most of what is an incredible opportunity for both of them to get this far. And you watch them practice and train and play here, they look like they're just loving it. So I hope they're just able to enjoy it, and I hope the pressure doesn't get to either of them. But you do feel maybe Ons Jabeur's a slightly more experienced player. Maybe that will work in her favour on Saturday. We'll have to see.
They've never played each other on grass either. Ons does have the upper hand in terms of head-to-head, but it's going to be an epic matchup all the same. We'll have to see how it plays out on that court behind us. James, thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for joining us at home as well. We'll give you a more detailed look at the ladies' final matchup tomorrow, so join us then on the penultimate day of the championship. Goodbye.